All right.
Right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out today, and thank you for inviting me back here. TCC, especially Norfolk campus, is a special place to me. It's very dear to me. My name's Les Henderson. Everybody calls me Les. I graduated here in 2008. I transferred over to ODU, but here was really where things were going for me. Here was where I really learned resilience, to really just power through. I mean, when I was here, I worked 3 part-time jobs at one point, including a brief stint doing work study in the science building in Andrews at the time at the ID office, working on the ferry, sometimes having to take the bus there. I mean, it was just, I went through a lot. And Mrs. Brown here and some other instructors here in the Open Door Project, it was so vital for me to graduate. Like, if it wasn't for Open Door Trio program, I wouldn't even be here right now saying that I graduated. So I definitely want to thank you personally, Mrs. Brown, and just this overall TCC Norfolk campus community for helping me, providing me with that wraparound support that I really needed, especially at that point in my life, and to continue to proceed to go anywhere. So today I'm doing my presentation on resilience as a leadership practice. Agenda today, the beginnings, kind of, breakdowns and meltdowns, keep going, and one day at a time. I'm gonna give a content trigger warning, a few hospital images, surgery references, a little mild language because, like I said, sometimes you just have to cuss when things happening. All right, beginning. So the reason I chose these particular pictures here, that's me as a baby with the little toy orange in my mouth in the tub. That kid did not see what's coming. That kid would not even have known the hell that would come a lot later in life, but they're here today. And right there is the Dillard's truck, because when I first decided to come to college, I was working actually at Dillard's right here, MacArthur Mall. I was doing the receiving and housekeeping department. And then I didn't even think about college because people always told me, you're not cut out for college, Leslie. You're just, you're not. And I'm not knocking any job because every single job on this earth is vital. But for me personally, it was like I started to want more. I started to desire more in life. So one day after work, because I remember I would work sometimes like 5 to noon, I came over here and I really went over to the Andrews building and I said, how do I get started? I had no idea what to do, no idea how to get started. And so they connected me, I think I remember her name, Miss Little. Whatever happened to her?
She retired.
Okay, yeah, she was like, and I know people used to always say she's mean, but she was just like, this is what you're gonna do. This is where you can start. You need to know what you're gonna do. So I still didn't really know, but I knew at least I needed to get started. And I think her name was Miss Jackie in financial aid. I don't know if she's still over there. Okay, I might have to do a little walk around after this. And she just guided me through financial aid. So I was like, I can't pay for this. My little housekeeping checks is not gonna help me with this. But they made sure I had a way. And then they said, you know what? You need to connect with the Open Door Project. So that's where I met Mrs. Brown and just so many other good people that really helped me out. And then I have a picture of this because I couldn't find my ferry picture. I don't know if some of you all knew, but I worked on the ferry for many years, the Elizabeth River Ferry that goes from Waterside over to downtown Portsmouth. And so people started to joke, oh, you're the ferry lady and all of that, but that was one of my 3 jobs at the time. So I look back at that time because that led me into a transportation career, which is my day job. So just having to do all of this, basically from this kid, not having any real family support, but I had to just do what I had to do. I had to just pull that resilience out from somewhere. Breakdowns and meltdowns. I was walking in a mall and I saw this picture of someone had shattered like a candle, it had dropped it. At some point, that's how my life felt. Like, I just felt like I didn't know what to do. Everything had just crashed. I just kind of went crazy almost, because then, as you all know, I'm here today with endoQueer, a group, a resource network that I founded. And so I would begin to experience pains, a lot of pains in my body. I just thought I was working a lot. I thought I had bad periods. And so everything was just kind of crashing, and then trying to make something happen in my life, kind of being, you know, when you're becoming an adult and you're trying to get it together, but then I'm dealing with all these pains. So, and just not really knowing how to really navigate through life. So that's how I felt. I felt like this shattered candle. And later on, when I would seek therapy, they would tell me, oh, you had a nervous breakdown. So, and you know how on, like, in the media, how they depict nervous breakdowns, but mine was just so gradual. But I know when I walked into that therapist, I still felt like that candle. So even if y'all just feel like that, some of you all may even feel like that right now, just take it one day at a time. I say that to everybody. WTF. So in 2016, I would experience my first lung collapse. This was really scary because, like I said, I was starting to experience certain pains. I was correlating pains with my menstrual cycles and within my shoulder and my lungs. But at the time, I was a chain smoker. I just thought smoking cigarettes had caught up with me. That's what I really thought. And I remember I was at a conference from a former job, and I was like, you know what, I better just go to the urgent care. I better get this breathing issue checked out. And so when I went there, they were like, you just had an 80% lung collapse. So they put me in an ambulance and went to the hospital. It was just this dramatic scene. I had never been in an ambulance before, never really had anything that dramatic. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to die. And I have to be honest, at that moment, I was like, you know what? My life just felt incomplete. And I was like, God, I really don't want it to end this way, especially because I knew deep down I wasn't finished yet, despite just feeling like everything had crashed down around me. And then I would find out that, then there were two more. I had two more lung collapses in 2021, and then another one just last year. And I would find out that this was happening due to thoracic endometriosis. As you know, endometriosis, most people know it to affect the reproductive area, but it can travel. And for that, unfortunately, it traveled up to my lungs. So I would, of course, try to find all kinds of support, try to get all kinds of doctors, specialists to help me with this. But where could I find support with all of this? Therapy? Yeah, that was a must. Doctors? Yeah. Support groups? I'll get to that. So here, once again, I just felt like this smashed candle, this glass. I just felt oh my God. I just felt like everything was done. I didn't want to spare y'all. I didn't want to show all the gory details. So with this picture right here, I'm actually connected to a chest tube. For me, just to be able to be mobile and walk around the hospital, try to get some exercise, I was connected to like this little motorized thing that I had to walk around with. I had the tubes coming out my chest, draining like all kinds of blood and liquid and stuff. But yeah, pretty much had to put this chest tube in and let it drain. This image right here this was more of a smaller chest tube. Like I said, I didn't want to make it a horror movie in here. So that was a smaller chest tube. That was right after the doctor had took that out. And let me tell you, when I was first in the hospital, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I just kind of closed myself off. I was angry. I didn't know how to process what was happening. But then gradually, I knew I had to build that resilience. I knew that I had to keep going. I had to, just really deal with this. I'm no offense to anyone, I am a praying person. I know that's not everyone, but for me, I found my strength through not just prayer, but also just knowing that the universe and building a support collective, building a community, that all that, would have my back. We also have a responsibility to also try to reach out to others. We have a responsibility also to not burden caregivers too, but just to have an overall cycle of communication, letting each other know, what you need and what they need. Well, sometimes you just have to start it yourself. So after just dealing with a lot of stuff with different endometriosis support groups, because I don't know if you're all familiar, but a lot of endometriosis groups can be very gendered. So, so one group I tried getting in, they're like, well, I said, are y'all defunct? I haven't received any information and anything. And they're like, well, let's be honest, some of the women were kind of uncomfortable with your presence in the group. Yeah, my pronouns are she, they. I'm just a masculine lesbian, but for more of just your traditional, feminine, cis woman, I guess some people were pretty, alarmed by it. So I said, you know what, screw it, I'm forming this myself. So I formed endoQueer, and what it is I formed it for other LGBTQIA+ people experiencing endometriosis and other similar and chronic illnesses, because I never wanted anyone else to feel like I did dealing with this issue. So after being shunned by former health support groups, even healthcare providers, because that's one thing I wanted to mention to you all. When you go to the doctor, don't be afraid to get another opinion if something doesn't sound right. Now I realize that there's challenges, like I remember a doctor here, and I reported them and everything because I had an OB said, well, this is for a pack, unless you switch teams, you don't really need to come here, You're not having hetero sex, you don't need to come here. But I said, how damaging is that for others that come into this practice, and they may have something going, but they're thinking, oh, I'm in a same-sex relationship, I don't need to come here. No, you need to get checked. You need to make sure you're taking care of yourself, because at the end of the day, you're still responsible for yourself. We know that in minority communities, especially, our lifespan tends to be shorter. And so not even having that, and then, just some friends and family didn't understand. And I mean, if you notice, we're just kind of hearing about endometriosis. Who was it a few weeks ago? I think it was Steve Irwin's daughter had the big story on her, having, her endometriosis surgery, and more people are starting to come out about it. So it's still kind of a new topic that people are really discussing, really, and we just need, and then sometimes it can just be a cesspool because, since endo tends to be very gendered, and many other illnesses can be very gendered, some people may be like, oh, well, only women go through this. Well, I formed endoQueer because I've met other people will DM me or email me and say, well, I'm a man, a trans male going through endometriosis. I'm a man going through endometriosis. I'm a non-binary person going through endometriosis. So this is something that if you've ever looked at, listening to my speeches, I usually say, well, it affects humanity. It's not just a woman's issue. It's not just a girl's issue. Everyone can be affected by this issue. So I put in some pictures here. This one was one I really wanted to highlight. And I have sent one of the pictures to Mrs. Brown because one is still my certificate from the Open Door Project. To this day, I was cleaning out a trunk and I found it, and I was just so happy. See, it even has your name on it. You signed it and everything. Then my high school diploma, my associates from here, the ODU one here, and some other ones. But these were just some of the ones that I wanted to highlight because sometimes people are going to tell you you can't. Like some of y'all may have looked at my social media, may see that I've been on panels, that I'm speaking a lot of places. But I also have a lot of rejection emails. I have a lot of no's that I could have posted here too. And sometimes I would get just so bummed. I would be like, it's not worth it. But I know I have to just keep pushing. And I remember even telling someone here, I said, I don't care if just one person comes. I'm doing this presentation. I don't care if it's just my partner Kristen here. I don't care if I'm just here and she's just recording it. I'm pushing on with this presentation. Sometimes you just have to keep going, no matter what. You're gonna have people telling you no, you're gonna have people saying you can't. You just have to keep going. And so, I mean, endoQueer has been acknowledged, honestly. Here's some highlights here. Capital Pride Heroes Award from last year, Prince George's County Pride, and then another endometriosis group, EndoBlack, for the Inclusive Communities Award. That's just my little faith little thing I have on my stand. And then this other award here, that's from my day job, passion for the profession. Like I said, I'm in transportation industry for my day job. But sometimes, you want to be able to come in everything you do with passion. Trust me, I do know what it's like to have to take a job and do something because you need the money, you got to pay your bills. But ultimately, you can't always think of the money. I know that sounds crazy, but you have to make sure you have some type of passion for what you're doing, because that's going to help other people. Sometimes I do a lot of transportation outreach. I talk to people every day, going to different properties, talking with just different types of people. And sometimes I'm like the first real contact that they had. I'm like, no, we're not, our facility isn't just, you're like someone from this tower looking down at you. I was like, no, and I always tell the leadership, we have to just get out in the community. We have to, you really have to have a profession, passion for the profession, like Mrs. Brown does, like so many of y'all do here. And then, other than that, I'm just thankful. I had to get a picture of this. So that's me and Kristen. We're here at the National Mall at Stumpy, the tree. We kind of cut off, but Stumpy is like, I don't know if y'all have seen the image online from the Cherry Blossom Festival, but Stumpy is like, it's just this deteriorating tree. Looks like it's on its last leg, like it's about to die. But it's still blooming, as you see, it's still producing. So you just have to keep going. And sometimes blood gets a little saturated. Sometimes blood gets diluted. And so instead of being upset about it, I have had to cultivate family. It's sad sometimes that happens, but you've had to, because sometimes blood gets diluted. But you have to keep going, even if you don't have that blood family support. You have to cultivate your support. And I'm just happy now to have supportive environment, like a supportive employment, supportive people, and just really cultivating that into your life. All right, so this one, don't wait, collaborate, don't wait, start. I want y'all to say this with me. Let's start at the top.
Don't wait, collaborate, don't wait, start. Being scared doesn't help anything.
That is what I learned. You cannot wait for people in your life. You can't always wait. You just have to go out and do it. There's been so many times in life I was waiting around for everybody, but you know what? I was like, bump that. I just have to get out here and do that myself. And just, get out here and do it myself, work with people. And then sometimes, and I go through a lot of times I'm scared. Like, she'll tell you, I was anxious even today. You might be like, oh, you've been on panels. How can you be, I was anxious on the way down here today to do this. But I know that, like, just being scared doesn't help anything. I had to do a presentation last night for my day job, and I was still nervous. Like, I always get nervous speaking, but I know it doesn't help to be nervous. Sometimes you get pushback. Like, the awards I showed you on the last slide, so I get hate mail too, because like I said, endometriosis is very gendered. Some people, they have their belief, their personal beliefs, and but I was like, I can't be scared. Have to just keep going. So with these pictures, some of y'all may know, like I said, my day job's in transportation, but I'm also an avid transit fan. That's why I'm getting on the Tide after this, because I have to ride it again. But this picture, I missed the Silver Line, the Metro WMATA Silver Line extension, because I was in the hospital. This was the last lung collapse in 2022. So everyone made sure I still had all the grand opening stuff. And it was so funny. The nurses were like, you have been so positive. So I think this was like about a week and a half hospital stay. And they're like, you're so positive. I can't believe, how are you smiling and you have these chest tubes, you had multiple lung collapses. And I said, because I woke up from that surgery and I know that I have another chance. I know I have another chance, and I just have to take it one day at a time. I was thankful to have supportive people. I have time I wasn't even eating the hospital food. So I was just very thankful at this moment. I mean, yeah, it sucked. It always sucks when that happens, but I know I just have to keep going, because for me, just not tackling depression, and not really facing it, that's very dangerous. This picture here, I was on, what was that? That was at the Capital Pride Awards, talking to Channel 7, WJLA, more about endoQueer. And after this, definitely go back there, help yourself to some stickers, sign up for our email list, and also visit the LGBT Life Center too, back there, get some goodies, learn more about what they're doing too. So that was really exciting, kind of being on the news, but being kind of nervous, like, oh no, I'm gonna be on the news instead of, what's gonna happen, but the way I see it, it can help somebody. Even if it don't help everybody, sometimes we need to see people that are like us. We need to see people that are going through the same things. I never thought that people would reach out to me and be like, oh my God, I'm going through endometriosis. Or just yesterday, my colorist was like, Les, I got something to tell you. And she seemed like she was about to tell me some happy news. So I was like, oh my God, what is it? She says, I have PCOS and fibroids. I'm like, why are you so happy about that, And she says, because, you talk about it so much, and now I have this safe space. I feel comfortable telling you about this, and, you can help me out. So it's just starting with one person, going on from there, because you never know what people are going through. That's why we say just be kind to everybody, meet people where they are, which is why I'm honored to be here at TCC, back here at TCC, because here y'all met me where I was. Oh my God, Dr. Warren. Dr. Warren. Oh my God, y'all, she's also just instrumental. I'm honored that you're here. You just have to meet people where you are. And this is a really good place of resilience, because sometimes other campuses, other colleges, they're not supportive. They're not supportive a lot. But here, I think it's really good that you all just continue to meet everyone where they are, because I always tell people, and I wasn't lying on any of my posts on my LinkedIn's, on Insta, on Facebook, if it wasn't for TCC, and especially this campus, endoQueer wouldn't exist. I don't know where I would be right now, but this wouldn't have happened at all. I will definitely tell y'all that right now. This one is us and some more endometriosis groups. Every March, since this is Endometriosis Awareness Month, we're at National Harbor, where we all collaborate and get the Capitol wheel to light itself yellow, and that's all of us in our yellow there. Community collaboration, working along with other groups. But yeah, just bringing more awareness to the community over this. Like, we're Black going through this. Like, some of them, they were just straight Black women going through this. Queer people are going through this. Some men are going through it. So, we just want to create that awareness. This was this was the second summit I did. At the time, this was still really during the pandemic, and because of the nature of endoQueer, and because some people can't get out of bed, because I've been one of those people where I just can't get out of bed. I just take every day that I can get up as a good day, where we did like the Care and Caregiving online Pride celebration and fundraiser. I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm just gonna see what happens. And it was a really great virtual, turnout where people felt safe and people participated. And then this one, again, the awards, I just wanted to show again, because what I wanted to show that sometimes you're not gonna get acknowledged. You're just not. But you still have to do it, because you still, people need help. People need assistance. Like, I tell people, oh, okay, like when I got an email that I was getting presented with some of these awards, I was like, oh, that's nice. But ultimately, I don't wait for social media. I'm not really taking pictures. I just get out and do it, and that's what I hope all of y'all are doing. If y'all are doing something, don't get upset if, you find that you don't have the fanfare. Just do it. You're helping other people. All right, so we're always looking for interns and volunteers. So if you are interested, definitely come back there, talk to us at the table. If you have to go, you can email us here at endoQueer@gmail.com. I have cards, too. So thank you. Thank you tonight. But first I want to address, does anyone have any questions? Okay, I usually, Dr. Warren, yes.
I'm sorry for being late.
No.
You may have answered it, or somebody may have asked you a question. What challenges did you face, or what impact do you think that you've had thus far with your coming forth and going out there in the community and things of that nature?
Well, what I found out was that even doctors now, they'll like say, we've been trying to get better, because what I was finding when I was going to the doctors, one time I had a doctor says, I don't know much about your community, and this is a doctor, where I'm going to them for the advice, I'm going to them for treatment. They're like, you tell me, I don't, I'm not familiar with your community. So I even have some doctors that I've been helping out and everything, because they're unsure, helping healthcare professionals, collaborating with other groups where they're doing trainings. It's another university where I'm helping them with like LGBTQ medical research and everything. So just really getting out there and making people aware. Even a lot of times the straight community, they're like, how can I be a better ally? What can I do? So that's what I find that's been kind of helpful in the wider sense, like people gaining more of an understanding, even patients that are going through not just endometriosis, but other illnesses, how they can advocate for themselves, the options they can do. On our website, we do have a resource page that's building, so I'm very happy that we get to grow that. So just making sure people know all of their options.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? All right, well, that's it. I wanted to thank everybody today. I didn't want to bring all that stuff today, but go to the endoQueer shop. I guarantee you can find something for you, or a loved one, cups, shirts, everything. I wanted to highlight this. It was a little graphic I made, because especially Black LGBTQIA+ people, we do exist and we will not be erased. I like to say that a lot, because, of course, sometimes, we vote blue at the voting box, but sometimes we can still be a very socially conservative people. And so, especially for Black History Month, I definitely wanted to highlight that we will not be erasing, but everyone here is supported, and you're not erased if you are vital and you're important. So we have things like for disabled, the trans community, the pansexual community, bi, lesbian, allies, Black, back there. If you all want to talk more extensively, some of you don't have my personal information, but endoQueer@gmail.com. You can check out the site, endoQueer.com, on all the socials like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. If you have endo and you're part of the community private Facebook group at endoQueer, that's the thing for all at endoQueer. All right, and that's it. Oh, and I wanted to encourage everyone here, not just to go to the tables, but tomorrow is the Trans Day of Visibility. So she'll give you more information on some events going on in the area. Please support the Hampton Roads trans community tomorrow.